So with our solid front axle vehicles, we try to do what's called a dry steering test, or which is like a weighted steering test. We put the full weight of the vehicle on it, and then he moves the steering wheel side to side, and then you just go from each steering part. So you look at your pitman arm, you look at the tie rod end here, you see this tie rod end jumping. See that jump right there? You can also see this tire jumping a bit, and that's because this tie rod end on the passenger side is connected to the center link, and so it causes that tire to jump. The other thing we look at on the dry steering test that's super important is the pitman, or this is the track bar. We look at the track bar here and at the ball joint, because that's what causes one of your leading causes of issues on the Fords for death wobble. On your steering damper, you can see that there's oil starting to leak out of it. One of the tests that is critical for the Fords is to see that you don't have end play on your steering damper. That end play causes the death wobble that everybody is so keen on. We go side to side, up and down. Yep. And then when he's moving it up and down, you'll be watching for the ball joints. You'll be checking for the boots being torn or any play in the ball joints. The funny part about the passenger tie rod end on the Fords is you won't see it on this wheel because the tightness of this tie rod end keeps you tight when you go side to side. You'll actually see it when you move the driver's side. See that? Because the whole center link's connected, and you see it when you move the driver's side. So on this vehicle, we'll replace the steering dampener that's leaking. We'll replace the outer tie rod end with a hole in it. The front shocks, because of this nasty cupping that's on the tire. The tire's jumping on the ground, causing this really deep cupping. So when the tires get wear, where it has a shallow spot and then up to a peak, we call that cupping. You can see the grooves on the tire. You see the results of it on your tire, but the actual cause is usually suspension related. which will commonly be on a truck like this, ball joints or shocks, allowing the tire to get rhythm on the road and bounce so that it gets cupping. This tie rod end also wasn't helping. It had some major play in it. This is the truck from earlier that had the major play in the tie rod. Got that replaced. And then when these trucks start to get what's known as death wobble in the Fords, but the early stages of it is kind of like a shudder. This stabilizer shock, the end play is quite severe, so it can move about an inch with almost no pressure. It has pressure once you get down into it, but there's that end play that's bad, which allows the axle to start to shake back and forth on the truck. Now that we've got it out of the truck, you can see from earlier why we suggested replacing it. You can see that it started leaking, which shows you that it's probably going to have end play to it. The reason we test all these things is Fords are notorious for the death wobble. The track bar has to be completely tight, not allowing the axle to shift side to side, and the steering damper has to be nice and strong, not allowing it to start getting rhythm, as well as other alignment adjustments that you do in order to make sure you have enough weight downward on the front tires. But that's a whole nother story for another day.